drop into predictability. Milkman, the paperboy, evening TV. You miss your old familiar friends, waiting just around the bend. Everywhere you look, there's a heart, a hand to hold on to. Everywhere you look, there's a face, somebody who needs you. But you're lost out there and you're all alone. A light is waiting to carry you home. Everywhere you look.
Episode 34 of Everywhere You Look, the unofficial, unofficial Full House podcast. My name's Thomas Green. You can find me on Twitter at NotThatTomGreen.
And I'm Alex Green, and you can find me on Twitter at TheAlexBGreen.
This week, an unfortunate weather condition causes Uncle Jesse to dwell on some unfortunate prior childhood memories. It's Season 2, Episode 12, Fogged In. Before we get into that boom, that bass, I wanted to say all that bass. I didn't say all that bass. I said all that boom. So we're going to accept it and move on. Let's do some housekeeping up front. First off, if you like the song that we play before and after each episode, check out the band Beat Radio. They're the ones who performed it. BeatRadio.bandcamp.com is where you can go to listen to that and all of their other music. Get a free download of that song. Check out the rest of their stuff. BeatRadio.bandcamp.com. Also, if you would like to support us in a very free, very cheap, very fun way, go to tinyurl.com/fullhousepodcast. You go there, you subscribe, so every episode comes directly to your device Tuesday afternoon. You don't have to click any pesky download buttons, it just starts downloading. Also, if you have a moment, please rate us 5 stars or any stars. We prefer 5 stars, but honesty is a thing. Rate us, review us, and I'll cuss you out on a future episode, just like I'll do later on to an unfortunate soul named Jason Bice. Also, if you would like to follow us, we like having friends on all the social networks. Facebook.com/everywhereyoulookpodcast, everywhereyoulookpodcast.tumblr.com, and on Twitter at FullHousePod. That's where all the stuff is. We send out funny pictures, we make jokes, we post links to the episode. Let's be friends on all of those, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. Now, before we get into the episode to make fun of the ridiculousness that is this episode of Full House, let's hop into the Wayback Machine. January 20th, 1989, the day in which this episode premiered on ABC.
Well, this day was the day that George Herbert Walker Bush was inaugurated as our 41st president, and also, obviously, the last official day, I guess, of Ronald Reagan's presidency. And apparently, he was the first president elected in a 0 year. So, he was elected in 1980, ends with a 0. Since 1840 to leave the White House alive, as president.
I would argue he kind of wasn't alive when he left the White House. Looking a bit like one of them walkers on that zombie show that y'all watch on AMC. I'm not going to plug it.
We actually don't watch it. We've played the video game, though.
The video game's awesome, but I've heard it's not based anything whatsoever on the TV show. So the TV show can go suck it.
Well, I think the video game is based on the comic, and then the TV show is a more loosely adapted version of the comic, I guess.
Yeah, well, I don't watch the show, you don't watch the show. We're all choking on our saliva here. Also, I brought up, because we've already recorded this intro once before and we had some issues. I'm pretty sure we covered Bush going into office 2 weeks ago. But if you say that he's just now going into office, he's just now going into office.
Well, that's what the internet told me, okay? An inauguration happens in January.
Well, the internet told me that Kim Jong-un once murdered his uncle with dogs. And that didn't happen.
How do you know? You don't live in North Korea.
Maybe I do. Maybe this is just my summer. Maybe this is just my summer residence.
Well, you've lived here for years.
Well, maybe I don't spend a lot of time in my usual residence of
no time.
All the, you know what? You're being argumentative.
In order to have dual citizenship or whatever, in order to have any citizenship at all, I think in most countries you have to be there for a specific amount of time each year.
Yes, I am.
And you have not met the requirements for North Korea, I'm sure, because you'd still be in North Korea.
What would you say if unmasked, I'm Kim Jong-un now? Hey, Alex, you're a lady. I don't like you. Slit your throat, you're dead. Kim Jong-un, everybody. Kim Jong-un is here. Hey, guys, I'm Kim Jong-un. This is the Kim Jong-un podcast, where today we are going to talk about how great I am. Woman, make me dinner.
Well, if that was the case, I would send Archie off to find Beric Dondarrion to have him and Thoris of Myr raise me back from the dead, and I'd come back and exact vengeance on you, Lady Stoneheart style.
Listen, lady, I don't speak Chinese. I'm North Korean. Another episode of Tom's Dinner Theater, which you can find every Tuesday and Thursday evening in Salt Lake City, Utah at Al's Diner. Okay, I'm back. Wasn't that a fun time? I wanted to throw in a little plug for the dinner theater I do in Utah every Tuesday and Thursday.
Funeral potatoes are served.
What's a funeral potato? Like, is that like a dead potato?
No, it's like this Mormon thing. They make it when people die. That's why it's called funeral potatoes, but you don't just have to eat it when people die. Like,
someone's dead, eat this potato.
It's like, I don't remember the exact recipe. I've seen it online before, but it's like tater tots, I think, and like cream of something soup and some cheese. It's like some weird like tater tot casserole kind of thing.
Why don't they just eat tater tots? Tater tots will make you happy.
I don't know.
Your uncle died. Here are some tater tots. Oh, I don't care. I don't care anymore. In fact, I'm gonna kill my aunt now so I can have some more tater tots.
Why do people have to be dead to eat tater tots?
You just said that they gotta be dead to eat the funeral potato.
I'm just saying, like, they don't have to be dead to eat funeral potatoes. That's what I said. Like, they're not, like, exclusively for deaf people.
Well, then why do they call them funeral potatoes?
Because traditionally you make them when someone dies, but that's not, like, a prerequisite to making them.
That's like if you called something, like, a sex corn, but you can have it when you're not boning.
I didn't come up with the name.
I think you did.
I did not.
You're plugging
Google it.
No. I'm not going to Google it. We're recording a podcast.
I'm just saying, Google it afterwards.
We don't have producers.
Sookit.
Sookit? Isn't that the chick from True Blood? Sookit Sutherland?
No, that's Sookit.
Sookit? Sookit Sutherland? She just took nail clippers to my nippies.
The handle.
Well, they're nail clippers, and I got small nippies, so it's like snip, snip. It's like John Wayne Bobbitt, booby style. Let's jump into this thing.
Thank God. Me?
You always start.
You made it sound like you had things to say.
No, I never have things to say. You say the things and then I make fun of them.
Okay.
That's how this show works.
Okay, well, Cold Open is as lame as usual. Like, why did they even put them in? It's so ridiculous.
Oh, it's because the Olsens, like, tested really high. I looked it up. I did research. I never, ever studied in high school and college. But I study for this podcast every, like, few weeks. Here's what happened, was the show wasn't doing that well first season. And they put it in front of a bunch of test audiences. What do you want more of? And they all came back saying, we want more Olsen twins. And thus we get scenes like this, where Michelle's just sitting in Joey's bed, and Joey's trying out new impressions for her, as if she would know the reference material.
Yeah, no, he's like, I need you to pick which one I'm going to do for my act tonight. And so, like...
What is it? It's Dangerfield and Jay Leno.
Oh, yeah. That was the Jay Leno one. I couldn't remember. He starts with Jay Leno, and then he does Rodney Dangerfield, and she's not impressed with either of them. And then she does her own Rodney Dangerfield and is extremely impressed with herself.
She should be. But what I found weird, like I knew Leno had been kind of famous at this point. Like he had guest hosted The Tonight Show a few times, and he had that movie with Pat Morita that my dad loves, where they're like buddy cops. I don't know the name of it. I've never watched it all the way through. So, like, people kind of know who he is. But, like, he's not on, like, Dangerfield status or, like, Bullwinkle status to where, like, every kid watching this is going to know who Jay Leno is.
But I don't think every kid watching this would know who Bullwinkle was either.
I think they're more than not. Because it seemed like back then kids were more likely to see the old cartoons. Whereas now it's just... Kevin 11 and The Adventures of Johnny the Robot.
Who's Kevin 11?
Isn't it's the one show with the other rhyming kid? Oh my goodness! When it's on Cartoon Network, he's a character on there. Kevin 11 is Ben 10.
Oh,
Ben 10. There's a character on there. I'm not kidding. Named Kevin 11. But I love how you question the real character I brought up, and not The Adventures of Johnny the Robot.
I was going to get to that next. I only can handle one at a time.
The Adventures of Johnny the Robot.
I don't know. Everybody just needs to watch Gravity Falls.
I'm just gonna do that after every time you talk tonight. Just gonna do the.
Do you want me to actually cut your nipples off with these clippers? Because I will.
Why do you even have the clippers?
They were on the table and I started playing with them.
Well, if that's the case, I'm gonna start putting other stuff on the table.
Ew.
Anyway, speaking of other stuff, first off, Joey looks like he's dressed for like a job interview. He's wearing like a button-up cardigan that's like Aztec themed, and he's wearing a tie underneath it, and it's all scrunched up. It's very bizarre.
So this is in no way relevant to Full House at all.
The Adventures of Johnny the Robot. Go on.
But you said Aztec themed, and it just made me think when I was in high school, for my freshman year spring concert, we did this song called Aztec Theme and Dance. And then we adapted it in the fall to use for marching band. And that was like the whole big centerpiece of our marching band performances. And they had us all... I don't know what they were thinking, but they're like, okay, well, this song involves Native Americans. Let's go ahead and have you guys dress like Native Americans.
Oh my goodness, did you go?
No.
Like, that would have been like the key. Like,
no, but we didn't
like
look
throwing out
anything
casino,
like Native Americans.
throwing out casino chips. Hey, everybody, come gamble at Alex's casino.
No, like, okay, like the woodwind players and the brass players had like normal marching band outfits on, but I was a percussionist in the pit, and so like all the percussionists and all the color guard girls had these weird outfits on, and so like we had like some of the moms like got some like brown fleece or something, no, it was felt, and made like vests for us to wear over our like marching band overalls. Like, we had like these weird like black velvety leopard print like tie things we were supposed to tie around our heads like ninjas, and like these necklaces with like turquoise beads. It was so ridiculous. We didn't look anything like Indians at all. Like, we even asked some kids, we were in Ohio for a competition, and we're like, what do you guys think we look like? And they're like, ninjas, who got a little confused. Like, it was nothing. Like, I don't understand the point of it at all.
I don't either, and I just heard the entire story.
Yes, he was giving me a look the whole time.
I give you looks all the time because I like hearing myself talk.
But marching band was great. That was my favorite part of high school.
My favorite part of high school was napping in the middle of the afternoon, or going in first period and napping until third period, and then leaving fourth period and not coming back. I graduated college, everybody.
I napped in algebra my junior year, and my teacher was okay with it.
Oh yeah, I had my senior year. I napped. I went to first period government. I napped all the way through that. I had second period in there too for another like government, or it was like financing. Some bit of commerce
In
class.
the same room?
Yeah.
Like economics?
Yeah, like
we took them separate semesters.
Yeah, no, we took them same semester, same teacher. Something got screwed up, and then third period was in the other like government social studies room across the hall, and I figured out a way to sleepwalk to my seat in that room. Didn't wake up until the end of third period.
You took another social studies class senior year?
What? No. I took two like government type classes. Government and then commerce or whatever.
Economics,
and then I took a study hall in the other social studies room.
Yeah, I never had study hall.
Yeah, see, we were forced to take study hall because nobody ever did homework in our school.
Well, I guess we kind of had study hall when I went to Connorsville. We had this thing called student resource time, and we like had to go to like this one room for like 45 minutes on Mondays and just do like whatever. One time, my SRT teacher read us a story about
SRT?
Student resource time. We just called it SRT. But she read us a story about a farting dog, like for little kids. but every time she would say the word fart, she would whisper it. It was like, and Walter farted.
In my study hall, I learned how to make a bong out of a parking meter. Like, I'm not kidding.
Haven't we talked about that before?
I don't know if it's on here or not. But
I feel like we talked about that with Kevin, like when the 6th grade posse happened or something.
Well, maybe, but yeah, bongs out of parking meter. A kid literally brought in a parking meter to study hall and showed us how to make a bong out of it. He hollowed out the pipe area and then put the thing in the parking meter area. Also, that reminds me of my freshman year high school, or my freshman year English teacher. We had this whole thing about the internet. Like, we had a 3-week lesson on the internet. This was 2002, I think, 2003. We all had computers at this point. We had all touched ourselves to internet porn.
Ew.
And yet, that's what kids did. Don't shake your head at me.
I had never watched any internet porn at that point in my life.
But you read internet porn. But what I was getting to was we were talking about, we got to the part where we talked about bad things on the internet, and she sat down, okay, today class, I need you all to sign these papers saying that we're not going to laugh at the subject matter. And so we had to sign waivers to discuss how pornography on the internet was bad. Also, she used to call the internet the interweb, but not be like sarcastic about it in any way. She left the school like the next year, I think, to like be like a Mormon like missionary chick in Utah. She was huge eyes too, like the biggest eyes I've ever seen in my life. But see that over there like 5 miles away? It's this episode of Full House. I feel like we just kept running. Anyway, the cold open ends when Joey buries his face in Michelle's vagina, which really happened. I'll take a screenshot and I'll put it on the Twitter. It happened. It absolutely happened. So we go to the first scene of the actual show where Michelle is again playing in her toy kitchen in the kitchen. Stephanie and DJ run downstairs crazed about breakfast. Have you ever wanted breakfast this bad in your life? Like, never.
Breakfast is usually my favorite meal of the day. I really love breakfast.
But I'm kidding. If you ever ran at me and you're like, we need to have French toast now.
Well, the thing is, you would never make me breakfast. I would have to make breakfast myself.
But let's say we were at your dad's, and he was going to make, like, gravy and biscuits.
Oh. That's my favorite.
But you didn't know for sure he was going to do it? Would you run to the living room, grab your father, and say, we need to have biscuits and gravy now?
I wouldn't be able to because gravy takes a long time to cook.
Well, I'm just saying, if it didn't.
No, okay, like, it's basically a debate between French toast, Stephanie's pick, and waffles, DJ's pick. And they're both very, very adamant that they are correct.
Whereas Michelle just wants cookies, and Stephanie gives in to that.
Well, I kind of don't blame her. But, like, actual cookies, not Cookie Crisp cereal, because Cookie Crisp is gross.
Yeah, it's like little tiny chocolate chip cookies, which I guess sound okay, but not in milk. And
it's good in theory, but not good in practice.
And they're, like really cheap, like, little cookies. So anyway, Jesse wakes up with, like, the worst drawn-on stubble you'll ever see. They pretty much just, like, dabbed his face in brown marker. And, like, bad bedhead. To which DJ, when commenting on this, said, and I quote, "I've never seen anyone look so wiped out." He had bedhead. That's it.
Well, he was exhausted, too. Like, he looked like he was exhausted. Like, crawling out of, like, the depths of hell or something.
Yeah, they were acting like he just walked back from Vietnam.
Although, when Joey comes up, he does actually look like he's crawling up from the depths of hell, because he's, like, literally crawling up the stairs.
Yeah, he also had drawn-on stubble. Could they not, like, grow, like, I can grow stubble.
In some areas.
Yeah, it's like, it takes me 3 days to grow it, but I can grow it. Whereas they literally drew stubble on both of the guys.
You have stubble now.
I do, thank you. I'm trying my hardest. I haven't shaved since Sunday, and this is Tuesday night. So we're giving away how far in advance we're recording this. Breaking the fourth wall. Kimmy Gibbler comes in with, like, the world's biggest suitcase.
Like, seriously, all three of the Tater girls could fit in that thing.
Oh, it's a coffin with a handle. She shows up, and, like, the adults all start screaming at each other.
Apparently she's staying for the weekend. Her mom and dad, did they say they went to Vegas? Or
I wasn't...
They might not have specified where they were. I might have just made that up.
maybe they realized they were dead.
But Danny's like, your parents will be back by Sunday, right? She's like, yeah, or Wednesday at the latest.
Jesus, that's when you call CPS and get this kid away from you. Also, she is like straight up looking like 50s Peg Bundy mom type. Like her hair is taller than she is. Poor Andrea Barker. Or Barker. Oh my goodness.
She is allergic to dairy products, feather pillows, and 6-year-olds.
Yeah, she just starts listing off her allergies. Like, oh, like her parents weren't gonna like tell don't even bother. Also, Stephanie, when Kimmy says 6-year-olds, Stephanie goes, I'm 6 3/4. To which I'm thinking, how old do you keep track of the fractions?
Well, I did that when I was little, like, because I always wanted to, like, be like, oh, well, hey, I'm almost this old.
But, like, I've never heard, like, someone actually do it past, like, the age of 3.
Oh, I have. I did it with myself when I was older than Stephanie.
That's ridiculous.
You never heard anybody be like, oh, I'm 12 and a half?
No. I've never heard that. You do that when you're, like, a baby or an infant or, like, a toddler. You don't do that when
I'm 26 3/4 in like 3 weeks.
And hey, I don't say things like that because I'm a grown-up. So Joey goes to the living room, the doorbell's ringing, and holy crap, it's someone from an episode prior that isn't in the main cast.
Huzzah!
It's Cheryl, who we met a few weeks ago in the triple date episode. She has come back because her and Joey have been dating for 2 months.
2 months!
Good job, Joseph Gladstone. Joey admits that he's not Joey Gladstone, but Sloppy Joe. Because whenever someone does something bad, they just, on the show, they just claim to be their evil twin brother. Like, this joke has been brought up at least twice before. And they always act like it's the first time they've ever done it. Well, then Cheryl's like, hey, Joey, I want to go skiing. And he's like, can you handle this? Me looking sloppy. And she goes, can you handle no makeup, Cheryl? Which she says in that voice. And then Joey, like, as she's walking out, he's so thrilled with the prospects of having sex with this woman at a ski lodge that he squashes a jelly donut in his hand.
Oh, well, he kisses her, and she can tell from kissing him, like, just a little peck on the lips, what kind of donut he is eating. Clearly Joey's soulmate.
So we go upstairs. Kimmy and DJ are in Jesse's room recording this. Okay, Jesse in 1988 has like way better recording equipment than we do right now. We spent a little bit of money on our mic setup. Jesse probably spent 15 grand to get the tape deck in his room. Because, of course, they're recording Locomotion.
What are you doing?
The Locomotion.
Where'd you get this tape?
It was in there.
Oh, no. Please, tell me you didn't tape over my Casa de Pancakes jingle.
Come on, baby, do the locomotion.
What are you doing?
The Locomotion.
Casa de Pancakes Olé.
I can't believe it. It's gone. You guys destroyed it. Now I'm going to have to do the whole thing over again.
Not the whole thing. You still got Casa de Pancakes Ole.
Now, DJ, this is my room, and you have no right being in here without my permission.
But
I don't want to hear any buts.
But it was an
What did I just say? Now, how much sense does it take to check a tape before you record over it? Now, why don't you guys both get out of here before I get mad?
Before? Look, I'm really sorry it was an accident. But you don't have to worry, because I'm never going to come in this room again.
By the way, Kimmy Gibbler knows how to play keyboard. Just random thing.
Oh, that's happened before.
Well, see, I thought she sucked at it, though.
No, she's good at playing keyboard. DJ sucks at guitar.
Gotcha.
Remember, because the whole bracelets thing happened.
Yeah, I thought she sucked, too.
Kimmy has Venus down on lock.
Yeah, but they're playing Locomotion, and they're recording it for some reason, because they needed to have it on this tape that you cannot play anywhere else but this one tape deck. And then Jesse walks in, and he flips the fuck out.
To be fair, I kind of understand why.
Yeah, there's totally rightfully so.
Like, because it turns out that they have recorded over his Casa de Pancakes jingle that he and Joey were up all night working on, and he's really upset. And Danny's all like, you know what? I think you're overreacting. You have an anger problem.
Well, he didn't flip out on them nearly enough, I think, because they did screw with something. Like, they played part of the jingle, and it sounded like they recorded it in a studio with a voice actor, not in Jesse's bedroom. It cost money to get that put together.
I bet there were other things that have been recorded in Jesse's bedroom. Ew!
I don't think they had sex tapes at that point.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Like, who, millionaires? Here, I'm gonna put up this camera that cost me $3,000.
Danny has that humongous video camera.
But I don't see Jesse being like, wait a second, I need to go get this 300-pound camera out of my brother-in-law's room before we go bang. But
I can see it being hidden, waiting.
I don't think you can hide something that big.
Well, Peanut the dog was hidden in Michelle's stuffed animals, and he was as big as a camera.
I don't think that dog from a later season was. I don't think he was as big as that camera. I think the dog was smaller. But no, they recorded over Jesse's jingle that he clearly spent like $25,000 recording. And then yeah, like she said, Danny walks in. He's like, "You have an anger problem, Jesse," and he's like, "No, I don't. I have an anger problem. I have a real anger problem. That's nothing. That is me mildly annoyed. That's like, no, like, listen, 1989, your anger problems are bullshit compared to now." But yeah, Jesse shames himself into being like, no, you know what, I spent a lot of money on this jingle, but it's okay that DJ ruined it. Let me go console her. These parents are the worst. They're the worst people.
Well, Stephanie is apparently upset that DJ has been spending so much time with Kimmy Gibbler that she literally begs Michelle to play with her. And Michelle's all like, "Nah, I'm good, thanks." And she's like, "Please, please, please." And finally Michelle's like, "Okay, as long as we can play horsey."
Yeah, I absolutely believe that this was the one take they got of Jodie Sweetin they could get from beginning to end, and she just forgot Kimmy Gibbler's name. But they're like, whatever, let's keep going. Literally, that's it. It was like a 30-second thing to get Michelle in, because once again, they felt the need to keep her involved with the show, but she can't talk, so they have to do things like this. So Jesse has a surprise for DJ downstairs, and it's like the size of a car under a blanket, but it turns out to be a drum set, which costs a lot of money even used.
He purchased it from the Harry Levin Trio.
Yes, which old musicians are like old carny barkers in terms of how much they're gonna rip you off for stuff. So Jesse spent like $25,000 on the recording equipment, $20,000 on the recording time in the studio, probably like a good $2,000 or $3,000 on this drum set from Harry Levin, that carny thief. Like, Jesse, the barely employed jingle writer, spent more than I make in a year on something in the past 12 hours. Ba-da-ding.
DJ is clearly excited about this, and so is Kimmy, who uses it as an excuse to touch Jesse, since she's always had this weird, inappropriate crush on him.
Also, DJ sucks at guitar, so he goes directly from, DJ sucks at guitar and she's not a very good singer, let's buy her a drum set, because she'll be good at that or something.
Well, see, the thing is, I don't think he thought she would be, necessarily. And
so why'd he buy her the fucking drum set?
I don't know, but he's like, hey, go ahead and try it, and she does. But, I mean, she sucks at it, but it's her first time using a drum set. But he's all like, hey, you know what? You're kind of bad at that. Let me show you how it's really done.
And so, like, he acts at first like he's going to teach her how to play. So he's like, here's how it's done. You do this, and then you do that. And then he plays, like, the best drum solo in the history of the world. He's like, boom, you're taught. Like, just do that from now on. Just play a drum solo. It's easy.
Well, as he finishes, Grandpa Nick comes in, and he's all like, oh, hey, what's up, guys? And then Joey and Cheryl are like, hey, we're going skiing. It's foggy out. See you. Bye.
Yeah, like, okay, so Grandpa Nick comes in, and they things of the stuff, and he pretty much says, hey, I'm moving in. because it's that easy.
No, Grandma says that in a moment.
Well, Grandma comes in. I spoiled it. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I spoiled
with a suitcase full of Grandpa Nick's things.
Like, you can't just do that.
He's moving in forever.
Yeah, but you can't just, like, decide that someone is moving into someone else's home. Like, that you have no power over. Like, I can't just walk across the street into somebody's house with your stuff and be like, Alex is moving in forever. Sorry. I have made the decision as to who lives in your home.
Well, to be fair, like, I kind of don't blame her because this just really goes to show, like, we kind of touched on it, like, in the airport that, you know, Nick Katsopoulos is kind of like a really chauvinistic jackass. But this just really drives this point home because the reason that they are in a fight is because he was mad that Irene, Grandma Katsopoulos, has been going to night school when he wants her at home cleaning the house and making him dinner.
They actually used the quote, "Yo, Irene, drop out of that flaky college and make me dinner." Because, okay, again, John Stamos went to the producers of the show. He went to Jeff Franklin. He's like, "Hey, I'm Greek. Stop writing me as Italian." So what do they do? They give him a Greek last name, and then they give him the two most Italian fucking parents of all time. They might as well be coming in like, "Hey, I got meatballs."
It's me, Mario.
I'm kind of surprised his parents weren't gay Mario and Luigi. But no, he says, yeah, she kicked him out, and good for her. Good for her for kicking him out. Bad for her for forcing him on another family. You can't just do that. You can't, like, that's not how divorce works. You don't get to pick where the person's going next.
Well, everyone else moves into the Tanner house. Why not Nick?
Yeah. Well, they moved there by choice. Nick is being forced to live there by someone who is not Danny or anyone paying bills there, which is just Danny. Also, Nick Katsopoulos has got, like, a slick back hair and a leather jacket and black jeans, because of course he's dressed like a greaser. Why not? And then Danny walks in holding a pink suit from dry cleaning, like, pink blazer, pink pants, and he's pissed at Jesse for the drums, rightfully so, because drums are noisy.
He's so mad that he turns into Dr. Seuss and starts making rhymes. When he's like, "Uncle Jay, may I see you in the K right away?" And Jesse's like, "You may." And I'm like, was that really necessary? Really?
So they go to the kitchen, where Jesse says, and I quote, "Every child in America wants a set of drums." Not true. Not every child. That's not a thing. Not every kid. It's not like you went to school even back then, and every kid's like, "Oh man."
Well, just because you had no interest in musical ability doesn't mean the other kids don't.
But if I didn't, that means every kid.
Well, you're a freak.
But I'm just saying, he said every kid. I was a kid.
Okay, every kid but Tom.
Well, but I'm also saying I don't think every kid wanted to play the drums.
A lot of them did.
But not everyone.
Okay, well, everybody exaggerates, including you, so STFU.
Also, they would want to play the guitar, not the drums. The guitar was way cooler.
I was always more into drums.
Eddie Van Halen played the guitar. Phil Collins played the drums.
Phil Collins is awesome.
But he is like an old, balding man. Like, I'd much rather be Eddie Van Halen.
And then I watched 2 movies today, actually, that Phil Collins did the music for. Tarzan and Brother Bear. And I'd never seen Brother Bear, but it was really cute.
Why was Phil Collins in Brother Bear?
He wasn't in it. He did the music.
But why would you be like, "Oh, hey, Phil Collins, do this cartoon thing"?
Because he did the music for Tarzan, and it was really successful.
Why was he doing the music for...
Because he makes music. That's what he does. He's like Mark Mothersbaugh now.
Speaking of making music, Jesse slides on his butt across the counter for a second week in a row. For no reason. He has to go out of his way to do it. He's like eating a pie or something. And then Jesse gets a lecture about, "Don't buy DJ drums, you're buying her off," which is a correct point. I think we've already had this episode like 3 times now where each of the adults have to learn not to buy the kids off. You actually have to talk to them and parent them. For God's sake, 1.5 years they've been in this house. Jesse walks back to the living room. He's like, "Hey, your dad doesn't want you having drums."
Yeah, it just totally throws them under the bus.
Like, total dick move. He's like, "Oh, the drums gotta go away." And then Grandpa Nick butts in. "Let her keep them. Let her keep them. I get no respect."
And Grandma rightfully points out that this should be handled between Danny and Jesse and DJ.
But then Grandma tries leaving, and she opens the door, and like a smoke machine from a Van Halen video, like, appears, and it's like, it's the worst smog effect I've ever seen. Or fog. Smog's the pollution. Fog's the actual stuff. But yeah, the fog comes into the house and, like, chokes them all to death.
It's too thick for her to leave. So if you haven't been keeping a tally by now, the number of people that are fogged into this house at the moment include 4 Tanners, 3 Katsopoulos, and 1 Gibbler.
3 Katsopoli.
Okay, fine. Katsopoli.
With 2 eyes, like it's Greek, bitches.
Danny's tucking the girls in for bed and getting Kimmy's cot ready, which maybe she brought her own cot. Maybe that's why the suitcase was so big.
Kimmy's cot sounds filthy. Hey everyone, we're gonna crawl into Kimmy's cot.
Grandma and Grandpa come in to give hugs and then like pass each other and give each other some like dirty looks, and they're like, I'm not touching you.
Well, dirty looks, not dirty looks.
And Grandma's like, I'm gonna be sleeping in Joey's room in case anyone wants to come say they're sorry.
You're doing J-Lo now. I'm gonna be sleeping in Joey's room now I'm doing like Busta Rhymes. I'm gonna try that again. I'm gonna be sleeping in Joe. No, I'm doing. I don't even. The hand gesture I just made was like the we come in peace. One more time. Let me do it one more time. I'm gonna be sleeping in Joey's. That's like Michael Jackson.
I feel like I was more Jersey than J-Lo.
No, you were total J-Lo. I was.
J-Lo doesn't sound like that.
But I can't do it at all. So whatever, what have you. Where the heck were we?
Oh, well, DJ's like, why is everybody mad tonight? And Stephanie's like, probably because Kimmy's here.
Yeah, because that's what you do when a strange child is staying in your house. Oh, hey, you fucking idiots. We all hate you. Go to sleep. Hey, asshole. Good job taking up space in the middle of my daughter's room. You little bitch. Also, this reminds me, I tried staying at a friend's house overnight once. Here's what happened. I get there at 1 o'clock. We watch the Hulk Hogan cinematic classic, Suburban Commando. We play some computer games. We watch some other movie. And then about 8 o'clock, I start crying uncontrollably. This kid, I think his name was Stevie, his parents couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. They let me call home. And then I walked home at 9 o'clock at night on a Friday from their house 2 blocks over back home to my house. And my dad's like, I didn't realize you were gone. And then I ate ice cream the rest of the night. That's the one time I ever tried staying over at somebody's house.
Why were you crying?
I was homesick.
How old were you?
8. And then I just never bothered staying over at anyone's house again.
That's really depressing.
Like, I missed my home. I was wanting to watch TGF. I got home in time for Step by Step, which was... It might have been later than that, because I think it was on CBS at the time. It was a later season, so I might have been closer to, 9 or 10. But that's the same friend who tried to show me how to do a peace sign at cops. He's like, oh, if you do a peace sign at cops, they'll pull your parents over.
That's a thing?
I don't know. I think maybe he saw his older brother do like flipping off a cop and they pulled him over. And he's like, no, you do the peace sign at a cop. Apparently they are very pro-violence. Which, I mean, some would argue. But you do the peace sign at a cop and they'll pull your parents over and give them a ticket. And that's a positive. Yeah. Also, Kimmy tells a shitty dad joke, but I can't remember it.
Jesse is reading Horton Hears a Who to Michelle, and Danny comes in, and then instead of finishing the book, Jesse starts telling a tale about a mean, geeky giant ruining the handsome prince with great hair's gift of a drum set or whatever to a princess. And after he leaves, Michelle just keeps telling Danny he's a geeky giant.
And then Danny's like, nope, I'm going to tell you a story, Michelle, about a long-haired troubadour.
And a lean, elegant prince.
Who has long hair? Jesse doesn't have long hair. Was he just venting about someone at work?
Maybe he forgot he got a haircut.
Hey, let me tell you about this troubadour named Becky Donaldson. Barely he doesn't know what the fuck a troubadour is. He's just making up words. Hey, I'm going to tell you about this transvestite named Jesse Katsopoulos. Alex is dying over here. We go to a sweet, we go to the external shot, the classic one in front of the house. And, they put up a really bad, 80s fog effect over it.
It's not as good as Thriller.
No, it looks like if you put, a cloud effect in, PowerPoint. But Kimmy's apparently been snoring through the night. She has sleep apnea.
It's really, really loud. Even Tom doesn't snore that loud.
Fuck you.
What?
I don't snore that loud.
I said you don't.
I don't snore.
You do snore. Not every night, but you do snore sometimes.
If I don't snore every night, I don't snore. You're just hearing things.
The dog snores sometimes,
Smoking
too.
the ganja is this one.
I smoke nothing. I have respiratory issues.
Yes, that's it. That's me doing coke. Coke.
It's not smart to smoke things when you're mildly asthmatic.
Speaking of asthma, DJ and Stephanie do magic. They forced Kimmy to sleepwalk to Michelle's room. I didn't know you could force someone to sleepwalk.
I didn't know either.
But they, pull her up, and she just walks into Michelle's room. She's led into the rocking chair in the room. And then Michelle, has a freak out. She's like, oh, fuck, no!
Were you ever a sleepwalker?
For a little bit, around 6th or 7th grade. I woke up in the toilet once. I didn't take my pants off to go to the bathroom. I just woke up in there.
My sister did that once.
And then I woke up on my couch. And then, like I said, I figured out how to sleepwalk senior year of high school so I could sleep through 3 classes in a row.
I used to sleepwalk when I was a kid, but I don't think I've done it in a long time. I remember one time specifically, I woke up in the couch with my brother's blanket on me. And another time, it was the last day of 4th grade, which is why it sticks out to me. We had a loft bed in our room that was joined in the middle by 2 bars. It had been my sister's in college, and they didn't need it anymore. So, I had one bed. My little sister had the other bed. And at night, my alarm clock was in the window next to my side of the bed. And so I went to bed in my bed. She went to bed in her bed, but my sister every night would get up in the middle of the night and go sleep with my dad and stepmom. So would my brother. So I'd be the only kid still in my bed. But I woke up in my sister's bed with my clock on her side of the window. It was weird.
You were sleepwalking Ty Pennington. Is that how he talks? Hey guys, I'm Ty Pennington. This week on it's a home makeover.
What does Ty Pennington have to do with alarm clocks or sleepwalking?
He maneuvered things around in the room. It was...
Ty Pennington came into my bedroom and moved my clock?
It could be hey everybody, it's home makeover, sleepwalking edition. Hey guys, I'm Ty Pennington. This week, we give this stoner kid an airplane bed.
Okay, Joey Gladstone.
Casey Kasem.
It did sound more like Casey Kasem than Ty Pennington.
A little bit. Yeah, I'm vomiting now. So Joey and Cheryl sneak back into the house in the middle of the night because they got stuck at a Kmart, apparently.
Wait, yeah, so when they left, it was still light out. Okay, we don't know how many hours have passed, but everyone has been in bed for a while now. It's pretty late. Especially because, they soon after we find out it's 3 in the morning, so it's probably after 2 a.m. at this point. So I'm gonna guess that they'd been gone for, at least 7 or 8 hours. They never left town the entire time they were gone. He said they ended up getting stuck driving around a Kmart parking lot, but, how long were you driving around this parking lot? You've been gone for several hours and you were still in San Francisco the whole time.
Or maybe they weren't driving. That's what she was doing.
That's a really gross noise. Please don't make that noise anymore. Stop it! Ew.
But, so anyway, by the way, it's too foggy for Grandma Katsopoulos to drive back to her home, which is apparently nearby.
But however, not too foggy for Joey and Cheryl to drive back home.
And then for Joey to send Cheryl back home by herself.
Yeah.
What a dick.
Well, at least he's being, more respectful, I guess, than Jesse and not having a random woman come stay over.
But I would rather her stay over and get an STD.
No, I would too. I mean, it's kind of crappy, but maybe she's just super good at driving in fog.
Or maybe Joey just wants her to die.
Maybe the fog's let up a bit.
It doesn't. Well, if the fog's let up a bit, then shouldn't they be able to get to the ski lodge area?
I don't know. Maybe it was too late. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, she leaves, and Joey is not paying attention, and he trips on the baby gate on the stairs and falls backwards down the stairs.
Because they hadn't told a joke in 10 seconds.
And that wakes Nick up in the living room, and he thinks that it's Irene. And Joey's just tired, and he strips down to his long johns and crawls into bed, not knowing that it's already occupied. And then so Grandma Irene's all like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. Let's spoon and cuddle and fucking stuff. And then Joey's like, what is happening? And he turns on the light, and they both scream at each other. And Nick runs in, and he's all like, what's going on here? First school, now this? And then Jesse runs in, and he's like, that's my mom. And Danny's like, this is horrible.
Yeah, 'cause next time I hit on you, I'm going to be like, hey, let's go cuddle and screw and fucking stuff. So two things. First, I absolutely believe that they were like, oh, Joey takes off his pants in the script, and then ABC got it, and they're like, no, he has to be wearing pants underneath his pants, or we cannot do this.
Well, it would make sense for him to have long johns on underneath his outfit. He was going skiing.
Though I could kind of see Joey Gladstone wearing long johns underneath his shorts in the middle of summer. But yeah, like, they're in bed together, and like I get the whole like sleep cuddling thing. Like, if I'm sleeping in a bed without somebody else in it, I'll like put a pillow between my legs because I have to do that. I have to be like all sprawled out. So I totally get that. There was nothing wrong going on here. And then yeah, Nick Katsopoulos is all like, hey, Joey, get out of that bed with this wife who's claimed that she has divorced me. And like they're gonna fight. And Joey covers up like he's nude.
Yeah, Danny makes him put on a robe over his long johns because apparently, seeing the outline of your junk is just not PG. And so, Danny and Joey leave, and Jesse's all like, you two are going to sit and talk this out.
That's a great time to do it, 2 a.m. Just don't let people sleep.
Nick's like, hey, I'll buy you a new outfit tomorrow.
I'll buy you a new outfit, eh?
And she's like, no, we need to talk about it. And he's like, okay, I'll buy you shoes too.
I'll buy you shoes, I'll buy you a new outfit, make you look all purty.
And Jesse's like, Dad, listen, you can't like sit here and buy her forgiveness. And he's like, oh no, that's what I've been doing with DJ.
Which, if you're keeping track, they kind of just compared a grown-ass woman to a little girl. And that they have the exact same mindset.
And he's like, Dad, I have anger issues because you have anger issues.
Like, and here's where shit gets really fucked up. In the next 5 minutes, it's gonna get real screwy. That starts it. So Jesse apologizes to Danny in the living room. And this brings up a point that I wanted to make. This family's insane because it seems like the only time they can solve any of their problems is at 3 a.m.
That sounds familiar.
Who are you talking about?
Us.
No, we'd solve ours earlier. I like going to bed.
Yes, but I feel like we've had a lot of issues in the middle of the night.
Oh, don't talk about those. I'm virile. I'm very virile.
Clearly.
I am. I get to bed and I do a little bit of the... I'm good at the... Don't talk about those problems.
That was disturbing.
Jesse and is like, oh, I'm sorry, in the middle of the night. Because everyone does that. And then DJ interrupts. And Jesse's like, listen, Danny, I want to talk to her. While she's standing right there. And says, I want to tell her that you were wrong and I was right.
Well, because Danny doesn't want him to talk to DJ because it's 3 a.m. But after he finds out that he wants to tell her that Danny was right, Danny's like, by all means, talk to her. But that's fine.
But he doesn't try to, like, whisper it. He's just like, hey, this is what I'm going to tell this girl while she's listening to me. But yeah, anyway, Danny's like, hey, you can keep the drums, but I keep the sticks. Blah, 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 blah.
And Jesse's all like, hey, DJ, I'm sorry. And DJ's like, I'm sorry too. And Jesse's like, you know what? Me and my dad have a really crappy relationship. We both have anger problems. We never discuss our feelings. I want to have a better relationship with you.
So no, Jesse apologizes for his temper, and the DJ's like, no, it's my fault, and gives like a total battered wife speech. He pretty much is like, oh, hey, you hit me, but it's okay, it's my fault, I'm a dumb bitch. By the way, everyone on the show talks to the kids like they're also adults, and I find that that's screwy. Like, we brought up a couple weeks ago about how, like, this show kind of caused, like, teen moms. I also feel like it has caused, like, a lot of bad parenting issues. You talk to kids like they're kids when you're disciplining them. Crazy uncle can talk to kids like they're on his level, whereas parents talk to children like they're children. Not like, oh, hey, you are slightly intellectually superior to me, and I'm always not as good as you. You don't do that. But yeah, Jesse's like, oh, when I was little, like, I would do something wrong, and my dad would scream and yell at me, and then he'd buy me a Batman comic, and it would all be okay. Nick Katsopoulos clearly hit Jesse a lot. He abused his child. This is the PG way of saying, oh, hey, Jesse had the shit beat out of him when he was a kid. And then in a late season episode, not like the last season, but a couple before, there's a child abuse episode. And guess who's the one adult that actually gave a shit? Uncle Jesse. Because he was beat as a child. Connections. I'm making connections. Uncle Jesse was beat by this asshole Nick Katsopoulos, who also hates women. So anyway, Jesse's like, I'm gonna pet you, DJ. He pets her really awkwardly at one point, semi-erotically. And then he starts telling her a story about the Beverly Hillbillies, and she falls asleep, and it's over.
You know, kid, people have things they don't like about themselves, and, me, I have my temper. And sometimes I say things the wrong way, and I hurt the people that I love.
I don't blame you for being mad at me. I did tape over your pancake jingle.
Yeah, but I didn't handle it right. I embarrassed you in front of your friend, and I hurt your feelings. And then I tried to buy your forgiveness. That was wrong. And you know what I'm saying?
Kind of.
Maybe this will help you. When I was a kid and I did something wrong, my dad would blow his top and send me to my room, and a couple hours later, he'd come back with a Batman comic book. And that's how I knew everything was okay. But we never talked about the problem. We never talked about our feelings the way that I felt. I don't want that to happen to you and me. I want our relationship to be better than that.
I think we're doing pretty good.
You ain't seen nothing yet, kid. When I was your age, I used to get in so much trouble. I remember this one time I was playing football. My pop was watching TV, his favorite show, the Beverly Hillbillies. I kicked a field goal right through Jethro's face. Oh, he yelled at me all night long. He had nothing better to do. The TV was busted. Anyway, kid, the point that I'm trying to make here is... DJ? And they lived happily ever after.
Who was your literally the worst this week?
Nick.
Yeah.
Again.
Nick Katsopoulos. After what I just said, cannot be not literally the worst.
Like, at the beginning of the episode, I was all like, oh, Jesse, for, all this screaming, and, I understood why he was upset, and he had a right to be upset, but I did think that he could have handled it better.
Yeah, not really.
But Nick, definitely.
Yeah, again, Nick hates women, beats children, and just stays with strangers. Not strangers, but he just imposes on people. He's an asshole. So fuck Nick Katsopoulos. You are literally the worst this week.
Again.
What a jerk.
You've been on the show, 4 times total, maybe? And you've been literally the worst for 2 of them.
Sorry. He's literally the worst, eh? That's my Italian. Hey, I get no respect. Hey. I was gonna do dice, but...
It was pretty Canadian there for a minute.
Okay, so before we go, I need to add someone to the cuss list, because they left a 5-star rating and a very nice iTunes review. Jason Bice, who has been in contact with us. He's actually launched his own podcast. He's been, talking with us for the past few weeks about different continuity things when it comes to the TGIF universe and all that. Continuity. It's the same thing.
It's not.
It's the same word.
Continuity is not a word.
Well, whatever, dude. But Jason and his wife, Nora, have started their own podcast, and they have claimed us as their influence, which is, super flattering and weird.
And it's a good podcast. I like it. It's about Girl Meets World, and I love Girl Meets World.
Yes, you can check that out at worstgmwpodcast.tumblr.com. We've both listened to the first 2 episodes. They're very charming, very, very charming people. You should check that out. But Jason, I gotta add you to the cuss list. So let me clear my throat. Listen, Jason, your name rhymes with rice. Rice is fucking stupid. It's like a little white, tasteless stuff. Oh, I'm gonna eat rice. Jason Rice. I'm gonna put rice in my... Fuck that. And I think you're wearing a baseball cap in your Facebook profile picture. Baseball caps are stupid. Fucking stupid. And you got like a blue jacket. Hey, I got a blue jacket. Hey, I'm Jason. Fuck that.
You have a blue jacket.
Shit. Semantics, continuity. These fucking people with their blue jackets. Listen, dude. Who fucking podcasts are dead. We killed it. We killed the podcast medium. You're jumping in now. Fuck you, you fucking goof. Fuck you. Ugh. Fucking goof. I'm looking at the levels. I want to make sure that you can still hear me cussing your ass out. Because you're a fucking goof with a blue jacket and a dumb baseball cap. And you're like, hey, I drive to Las Vegas. I bet you lost like $8 million at a crap table. Because you're like, oh, I'm going to do a dumb fucking bet. Well, fuck you. Fuck you. And I don't have a good ending.
I like to eat rice with milk and sugar.
It's horrifying.
No, it's tasty.
Again, thank you so much, Jason, for leaving us a nice 5-star rating and writing a short review. We've had a lot of reviews come in the past few weeks. Keep them coming, please. I'm not kidding. I want to believe that the influx of reviews on iTunes have led to us being exposed to more people and the numbers jumping like they have over the past week or two.
Hello, new people.
And if you would like to be cussed out on a future episode like Jason just was, again, tinyurl.com/fullhousepodcast. Leave a 5-star rating, write a short review, subscribe to the podcast if you're nasty, and I will cuss you out on a future episode of the show. I'll add you to the list of people. It is ever growing, 1 a week. I'll cuss your ass out because you're a fucking fool. So for that, I forgot to go to Twitter, so, what should I do? I got it. Everywhere you look, there's a
Kimmy Gibbler.
You're lost out there, you're all alone. A light is waiting to carry you home. Everywhere